And welcome. My name is Ryan Belmore. I am the owner and editor of What's Up Noop. And here on this edition of One-on-One, we're going to be joined by my dear friends at the Bit Players. The Bit Players is Rhode Island's most award-winning improv comedy troupe. You can find them at the Firehouse Theater here in Newport every Friday and Saturday night at 8 o'clock year-round, and then in the summer on Monday night as well, and as Wednesday nights, some friendly funnies for the kiddos and more. And we're going to join them and bring them on here one by one. And so that way we can check everybody's audio. And first up is we have artistic director, Frank Fasaro. Hi, Frank.
Hey, Ryan. How are you?
There you are. There's your audio. And there's your voice. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. We have you brought a couple friends with you today here to this conversation.
I have, yeah.
And they are all here. So anybody who wants to introduce next here.
You want me to introduce them?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Let's bring on our musical director, I guess, Chase Seglier.
Hello.
There he is.
There he is. And let me make it so
Ryan.
it's a little easier. Hey, Chase, what's going on, man?
Nothing. Just hanging out.
All right. And maybe we'll go with a lady in the group.
Yeah, our operations manager, Annmarie Holly, is here.
Hey, guys.
Hi there. How are you?
Doing pretty well, thanks. How about you?
Doing okay. And last but not least.
And the newly titled media director, which I just gave him all of a sudden, it's Karl Magner.
I have a title.
Only for this interview.
So here we are. We are at May 8th. And in 4 hours, you're taking the stage at Firehouse Theater. Sold out crowd and some improv comedy troupe coming up. And what's going on in COVID-19 world and the Bit Players there, Frank?
Man. Yeah. Well, we're doing what we can to kind of promote, just fun and laughter and entertainment online. And we're doing a lot of, we're generating a lot of content through social media. We're doing a lot of kind of one-on-one interviews and master classes in improv, and as much as we can think of and as much as we can generate, we're doing. So we're putting it all out there right now because we can't be together. We can't do what we love to do, which is just be in a room full of people and make stuff up. So we're doing it on all different platforms and mediums and trying our best to keep everybody entertained.
Now, one of those groups that is certainly struggling the most right now and is the arts, entertainment, theater world. Have you talked to any other groups? What are other people doing out there?
Yeah, I've touched base with other companies. The theater world in Rhode Island right now is pretty much, on hold. I know that Trinity and GAM, people who do traditional theater have pretty much canceled their 2020 seasons. They're already looking ahead to 2021. There's just nothing that they can resurrect, even with, the quarantine being lifted today. That doesn't really help us out as live performance venues because, we still have to adhere to a lot of the guidelines that we just can't possibly adhere to and still do a live performance. So, theater around the state has, pretty much stalled out as far as I know. I don't know anybody who's doing anything live, and that's going to be the case for the foreseeable future, from my perspective.
Now, Chase, you picked two great careers here with improv comedy and theater, as well as a musician.
Very concrete.
They chose me.
Yes. So two great careers that are doing well right now.
Perfect.
What is it like being a musician at this time? It's got to be almost the same, if not even a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot more free time right now, but it's weird. It's an odd situation to be in. I've kind of done a lot of stuff on my own music, making it. So I've become pretty self-sufficient in recording and producing my own stuff, which has helped me a lot right now. I feel like I've kind of been preparing for this moment right now. It's an odd feeling, but it's nothing really compares to the experience of just going out and experiencing music. So It's weird. It's very odd.
And Annmarie, for those who have not seen the Bit Players before, have not seen improv comedy before, why don't you tell people a little bit about what the Bit Players are and what they have to look forward to when you guys get rolling here again?
Sure, yeah. So we do short form improv, which is very similar to Whose Line Is It Anyway kind of style. So we play small games that we call bits. Each lasts anywhere between, 3 to 8 minutes, hopefully, unless we drag it out, which we sometimes do. But ideally, that's about the length of time. We do musical improv, so that's where Chase and the musicians come in. We also do miming and physical improv, so a lot of different stuff. We generally have 5 to 7 people on stage at any given time, and our live audience, who we like to call the sixth bit, and they provide all of the inspiration for what they see on stage. So we ask them for suggestions, and we take those suggestions and hopefully make it into some comedy gold. Our tickets are really affordable. Our theater is BYOB, so it's a really nice, cheap way to spend your night out in Newport, a good way to get your night started if you're going out to the bars afterward, or a nice way to kind of cap off your evening after a nice dinner somewhere on Broadway.
Excellent. And Mr. Karl, I like your hat.
Thank you.
You have been the video man and the man behind the media, and talk about some of the ways that you are improving during this time of COVID-19 to bring the improv to the masses.
We've been trying to get a lot of things done to stay in the eye of the fans. We have a series that is called WUN-ON-ONE, where Vlad interviews all of us, all the Bit Players, and we get to know, so the fans get to know us more. Then there's another series that actually Annmarie does with Elizabeth called Steph, Core, and Tammy, and then, which is funny. They play their characters that they do bring them to the stage a lot. And then we're also doing the sixth bit, where Elizabeth interviews fans and supporters who have been a part of helping out the theater and the company. So we're just trying to generate a lot of good content.
Excellent. And I mean, Frank, how long you been with the Bit Players? You are the senior member here.
Senior member on this panel, not the longest member, but I've been with them for 12 years now, just about, doing as the artistic director. And when I first came on, I came on with the understanding from the owners of the building that I was going to be there for a short amount of time to get the group up on their feet and get them performing. And then I was going to be leaving, and that was about 12 years ago. So,
and I imagine that this is the probably longest amount of time that you have not performed.
Yes, since I've been with the group, yes. It's. I think I can only speak for my wife, but I'm sure everybody else's significant others, friends, and family are getting a little annoyed with us, being home and having no place to let that artistic, creative energy out. It's creating some interesting conversations and dinner table talk. So I'm sure that they're all just as anxious for us to get back on stage as much as we are.
The amount of times that I say to Liz, "Was that funny?" And she'll go, "Yeah." I'm like, "You didn't laugh." She goes, "Okay."
You guys have to have a kid, and then you have a captive audience. My 2-year-old can't escape my characters and things. Which will probably, not bode well for the future for her, but that's okay.
It's all right. You're developing a future Bit Player.
Exactly.
One day. Frank, when was your last full show, in the old normal?
Yeah, we hung in there as long as we could. We actually did our last performance. I want to say it was the second weekend of March, I believe.
The 14th.
The 14th, yeah. We, and I remember we had talked about canceling that weekend, and we were like, nope, we're going to do it. I was like certain that we could keep going. So we did maybe one more weekend than most people did. So that was our last performance. And then the week following was when stuff got, really serious. And, we kind of faced the inevitable and said, all right, there's nothing we can do. We got to pull the plug on this.
And you're all a bunch of artists, entertainers, comedians. Obviously, none of you probably live off the money you make from the bit players, but it is a source of income. Has there been any support for out there in the world for the artists and entertainers, or for the bit players in particular?
Yeah, I mean, there are programs out there, and there are things that we've gone after with, I would say, not much luck. What we've been trying to do is just generate content for people and hope that they will. We set up a nice little spot where people could give us tips and stuff, and we hope that they would do so. We've offered, there's a lot of people trying to find new ways to celebrate birthdays and celebrate anything really. So we've offered, the opportunity to do things like a serenade, which is something we would normally do in our show, where we would do either a virtual serenade for somebody, or we would show up to like a birthday drive-by parade that people are doing right now and do a serenade or whatever. So we've been trying to do stuff like that just to get people, excited about what we do and give us some sense of normalcy. And then, we don't charge them. We just say, hey, send us tips, which has been great. But, we've come to the realization that it's just not enough. It's not enough to keep us, our head above water. And we kind of faced it this week and looked at it and said, okay, we're getting to that point where there may not be a Firehouse Theater to go back to if we can't find a better solution, which is why we rolled out our campaign yesterday for donations.
And I mean, I listen to the governor every day and participate in her press conferences. And she has said since the beginning of this that events and activities that gather groups are probably going to be the last thing to open. Do you even have an idea of when that? I mean, what are you planning for, hoping for? We're not doing Mondays. We're not doing local Mondays.
Laughter for locals, yeah. I mean, to get back to what we have done, I don't know. I've been telling everybody, we do a weekly meeting as a group, and I've been telling everybody, even when they say, hey, we're good, everybody let's go back, we're going to have to be really cautious about it because, we have a small space. We're all, kind of sitting on top of each other. It's just not realistic for us to get back to what we would call normal. I know that everybody's doing everything they can. This is a bigger problem than us, and it's obviously global, and et cetera, et cetera. It's tough to see, a lot of support being pushed out for restaurants and people saying, hey, help these restaurants. They need us, when they can still generate an income on some level. They can still have takeout. They can still do delivery. There's small businesses like ours, like retail stores, that we don't have any recourse. We have very little in the way of, generating revenue. And trust me, I'm someone who's been supporting as much small business I can, ordering from restaurants, way over tipping people just because I know what everybody's going through. But we don't have that same type of ability to reach out. And then, hearing, I was watching the governor today on your channel, Ryan, and hearing her say, we will get back to normal. We will get back to, that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, how long is that going to take? And we might not have a normal to go back to if we can't find a solution sooner. So I do know that, everybody's doing what they can, and everybody is looking ahead saying, this will pass, and it will on a grand scale. But how much of a wake is it going to leave?
And in conversations with Jay Sweet from Newport Festivals Foundation, as well as Evan Smith from Discover Newport, and everybody I've talked to over the last week, I brought it up is, all these events getting canceled, and you guys put on events, you guys put on entertainment that, if you want them to be here when this is over, if you want the festivals or whatever to return next year, if you have the means, you have to support them in some way now, because nothing is a given. Unfortunately, it seems like it's more common now that it is more common now that I'm starting to write about and know about businesses that are not going to make it through this. And, a lot of businesses have told me they might be able to make it through this and get to the reopening, but in 6 months, 12 months, when they've burnt all that capital that they had left, that's when we might see a lot of businesses phase out. So, I mean, you need fans, you need anybody watching, listening anybody who loves the Firehouse Theater, anybody who loves bit players to help and support in any way they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I know everybody is spreading themselves as thin as they can to help everybody. So, we're not asking anybody to overextend or do anything that that they're not comfortable doing. At the end of the day, we know our neighbors are helping. We just started this campaign yesterday, and we've already seen a tremendous amount of support, which is great. But it's like you said, Ryan, I mean, what is happening today is it's a domino effect. And once those dominoes start falling, it's hard to stop them and set them back up. So, we had, a nice nest egg. We had, set ourselves up for, a lull. But I don't think anybody forecasted this much of a lull. And, and looking at the horizon saying, I don't see an end in sight. It's just a scary thing for people like us who do what we do because we love it and we love providing entertainment. We love interacting with our audience. We love each other and just being on stage and having fun together. The money was always a secondary part of it. It was always that's there too. And it stinks that now that has become like such an important piece and is jeopardizing us to be able to get back to all that other stuff.
And obviously there's the improv comedy, and which all of you guys participate in girls. But Frank, you're the artistic director of the theater, and I think we need to take a few minutes, and anybody could jump in on this, but what the Firehouse Theater has meant for the community, the events it's hosted, all the different activities and resources that the Firehouse Theater, as well as owners Jack and Donner, have provided for the community.
Yeah, and we're here representing the bit players, which is just a small piece of that building. We have a lot of other things going on there, like you said, Ryan. Tell Newport. I mean, that's become a great event that they do once a month, and it's just an awesome spoken word storytelling. It's become its own beast, and they're in the same boat we are. They use where they're home. We have the brand new yoga studio upstairs, Mend, who are I commend them for doing such a good job of doing online classes and everything like that, and keeping their audience engaged. But they're suffering. We're trying our best to make their life easier and cutting their rent and all of that stuff. There are, and there's all kinds of one-off events. And like you were talking about our summer schedule, summertime is when we open up our doors as much as we can to all different types of people. We do a Monday night laughter for locals, like you were talking about, for the people in industry and in hotels and bars and everything like that who work on the weekend, who don't get the opportunity to go out on the fun nights. So we give them a Monday night to come out and laugh with us. Wednesdays we do for families and all of that. So to me, the building and the space and the company just means an opportunity for the community, for tourists, for whoever, to just come and whatever is going on in your life, leave it at the door, have a good laugh, share a one-time event that will never be replicated again, because that's the joy of improv. And then get back to your life. And I would love to hear. I know Karl, Annmarie, and Chase all have their own opinions as to what it means to them and what this time has done and all that. So I'd love to hear their insight as well.
I mean, I haven't been involved for too long with the theater, but the amount of time that I've been involved with the bit players, the theater has become quite the second home for me, and it means a lot to go there every weekend. And to me, it's nice. The people that we work with, to perform with, it's just something that's really awesome that we provide for the community. And thinking of the times right now where I'm just going stir crazy every Friday, Saturday, where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, well, not going on stage tonight. Okay, yeah, okay. So I'm like trying to stay as sane as I can. But the theater means the world.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've been with the bit players now for almost 7 years, and the theater has been something that's always kind of been consistent in my life. And I always say, no matter what interview I'm doing, that improv has always been a type of therapy for me. So the fact that I don't kind of have that like mental health outlet, as well as the opportunity to make people laugh is definitely tough. I think as adults, we take on so many responsibilities that we forget that we have the opportunity to still like play. And this is our opportunity to get together and to have that creative space with a bunch of artists that, we've been working together a really long time. Everybody's on a pretty level playing field, and it's just always such a great opportunity to get together.
Carl, what are you drinking over there?
Carl, what are you pouring?
I thought I muted. It's just water.
I was like, man, you are in trouble.
Annmarie.
It's really water.
To the group shot because I thought he snuck to the bathroom and didn't turn his mic off.
Chase, you're up next here, man.
I've been with the Bit Players for, I think I hit 10 years this year. I started when I was in high school. I was at Rogers. I grew up in Newport. I grew up right down the street from the theater. I feel like I grew up in that building. So it's taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about how to be a musician for theater and how to be selfless and kind of get out of the way for the sake of the show that is happening and the larger experience. I mean, I see myself doing not only musician work, but I see myself in a theater context for the rest of my life. So it really has taught me a lot, and yeah, love the place.
So the link there, the PayPal link is right at the bottom, paypal.me /Firehouse Theater. Theater is with an ER on the end. Oftentimes I put the RE, but it's an ER, as well as you can bitplayers.net is their website, and then you can find the Bit Players, and you should find Bit Players on all social media forums and follow them, because it's not just going to be about fundraising, and there's also going to be a lot of fun coming up. And maybe Karl, why don't you preview some of the things that are coming up, some of the entertainment, and I encourage and ask everybody, it's a Friday night, or it's tomorrow will be Saturday. Maybe go to the link and donate what a ticket or 2 tickets would have cost you for the weekend, and tune on in.
And before Karl answers that question for you, Ryan, just also, we still have gift certificates available. You can still buy tickets to upcoming shows. The best thing you can do is go buy a gift certificate. And, it's good for whenever. When we do get back, if we do get back, which I have all the faith in the world we will, you can apply that gift certificate to any show. So go buy tickets now and plan for the future.
And should people tell their enemies about the campaign as well?
Yeah, that's our end line for all of our shows. If you enjoyed it, tell your friends. If you didn't like it, tell your enemies. Right now, I don't care who you tell. Tell everybody. And I don't care if you hate them and they hate you. If they're going to give us a couple bucks, they're my new best friend.
And maybe before we get to Karl, Frank, can you just maybe summarize, I want people to make sure they know how serious this is. I know it's tough to be serious when we're talking about improv comedy, but can you talk about how serious the need is maybe for the Bit Players?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, the reality is we had a nice little nest egg built up, and we did everything we could to prepare for something like this as much as anybody else did, I'm sure. But the fact of the matter is the building is still there. It costs money to own that building. It costs money to heat that building. It costs money to have electricity in that building, which granted, all of those things have been minimized, but there's still a lot of overhead. So when we go from doing sold out shows every weekend to absolutely no shows, absolutely no revenue, absolutely no income, that nest egg starts depleting pretty quickly. And we've done everything we can to, put gum in the dam, but the holes just keep popping. And unfortunately, we're just at that point where we need the help of the community if we want to be here for the long haul, and we want to get back to making people laugh. And so please, anything you can do is greatly appreciated. It can't be overstated or understated that the reality is we might not have a Firehouse Theater to go back to if we don't get the help from the community. And it sounds melodramatic to say that, but that's the truth of the situation. And, we're not splitting hairs about it anymore. We tried very hard over the last few weeks to just kind of, we'll figure it out. We'll get there. It'll come. And we're beyond that point now. So, we appreciate Ryan, you giving us the platform, and everybody else who's given us a platform to get the word out, and hopefully we just keep spreading it.
Yeah, and I think the most difficult part for a lot of businesses right now is there's no end in sight, and you don't know when that revenue is going to come again, and you don't know when this is going to lift. And unfortunately, for gathering 100 people doesn't look promising anytime soon. So I encourage everybody, whatever you can donate. If you want to buy a gift certificate and go later on down the line, or just go on and make a contribution right to their fundraiser. Karl, what are some of the funny things coming up where people can tip as well as entertain, kind of see how annoying you are? I mean, how funny you are.
So like I mentioned earlier, every Monday, Wednesday, we have the one-on-one interviews with Vlad. Every Thursdays, we have the Steph Core and Tammy. And then usually Friday, Saturdays, we've been doing our podcasts. It's on Bits Per Second. It's on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud. So you can find us in any of those on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We have daily Instagram takeovers. It's where each one of us take over the Instagram, and you get to see what it's like to be in the day in the life of a bit player. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's awkward, sometimes it's sad. But it's definitely a fun way to really get to know us. So you can keep out for that.
Excellent. We'll go around here. Karl, did we miss anything? Anything that you want to share? Anything that people should know about the bit players?
Annmarie put her finger up like I missed something, so possibly.
I was just going to say one more time that we are also available to do the personalized serenades or birthday songs. Mother's Day is coming up. We're hoping to get out there to serenade some mothers. So anybody who has something celebrating, I know a lot of brides are suffering because their bachelorettes or bridal showers are canceled, or postponed. So if you want to kind of, send something that'll make them smile their way to think of us, send us an email or message us on social media, and we'll get back to you and get that right to you as quickly as we can.
Awesome. Karl, you're good?
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, Annmarie, did we miss anything else?
No, I think I'm good too.
All right. And how about you, Chase? Did we miss anything from the music management side of the world here?
Stream my new song and watch my new music video for Losing My Mind on all streaming platforms.
Because you did say that, I did get your email.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I know I haven't reacted to it. I haven't responded. I haven't promoted.
No,
but
I totally get it.
Yes. Yes. Check out Chase's work. Frank, what did we miss?
The only other thing I would add on to that is, in addition to the content that, Karl and Annmarie talked about, we've also offered to some businesses. We've done a couple Zoom crashes. So if you're out there and you're doing these virtual meetings with your team, with your company, whatever it might be, and it's kind of becoming monotonous and you can't really capture your group, have us come on as like a surprise. Don't tell them we're coming. Don't tell them who we are. One we did for a really big company was a lot of fun. They brought me and another one of the bit players on as consultants that we were going to help them show them how to use this, do some role playing to show them how to do like online check-ins with their bosses. And it turned into like us having a huge fight, and literally like it seemed like this consulting firm that they hired had an implosion right there in their company meeting, and then they all found out that it was all a joke at the end, and they really, really enjoyed it. So stuff like that. We're open to any ideas. Get a hold of us. Say, hey, you guys are improvisers, and here's what I'm thinking, or here's what what can you do with this or whatever, and we'll turn it into something. We'll do what we can with it.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all of the work you guys do, and I miss seeing you guys every Friday and or Saturday night. I'm good for one show a weekend, and hope to see you guys all soon. And maybe once we get to capacity of 10 people or so, we can start getting you on stage and doing a little show with Zoom. Maybe we'll get a little creative here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're thinking about it. We'll come up with something.
Gloves
All right.
and face masks.
There you go.
Makes for great improv.
Bitplayers.net and then paypal.me, Firehouse Theater, and bitplayers.net. Go on and buy a gift certificate. You get the benefit of supporting as well as seeing a show down the line. So I want to thank you guys all for checking in, and hope you guys do well, and we'll chat with you soon.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
And that's going to do it for us today here. Again, bitplayers.net, and then there is the PayPal as well, and it's paypal.me/Firehouse Theater. I want to thank Annmarie, Karl, as well as Chase and Frank for joining us today. We'll talk to you next time.